So glad to see you in the study. Today I'm going to do a cocktail compilation, and it will contain all of the cocktails that have been in my videos so far. Some of them are from historical videos, some of them from literary videos, and some of them are for card playing videos. So I've put them all together for you to watch and enjoy and have a special tipple. I'll post the recipes on the video as well as below in the description, and I will also put links to each video if you would like to see what else is in that video. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, please put them below. I would love to read what you think. And to introduce this video for you, I'm going to make a cocktail right now called the Coquette, a delightful cocktail that was featured on the Courvoisier Cognac website and features Lillet Rosé or Rosé, so a pink Lillet, which is very similar to Dubonnet or the Martini bitters. Kind of a wine-based light spirit. It also features crème de pêche, which is a peach-flavored liqueur. We'll also be using some lemon, freshly squeezed, and a shaker with ice. So we're going to start mixing with our measure. The Coquette is described on the Courvoisier website as, while being a tasty little drop, La Coquette is a frisky little minx. With cognac, Lillet Rosé, crème de pêche, and lemon juice, she is certainly easy to drink, but in typical French style can be difficult to forget. So let's mix one now. We're going to use three-quarter measure of cognac, three-quarters of Lillet Rosé, and three-quarters of crème de pêche. I usually find a nice small lemon, preferably the tasty sweet ones, and I squeeze the entire half in there because I don't like to waste it unless there's something else I'm using lemon for. And the seeds don't matter because the cocktail shaker will filter them out. And just for our garnish, I'm going to try and make us a nice lemon spiral. Which is a little hard to do because I've already squeezed the lemon, so the peel is very bendy. Keep going as long as I can here. There we go. And there's our spiral. So we're going to shake the cocktail. The Coquette is a fruity, but not too fruity, and sweet, but not too sweet. Lovely, refreshing cocktail that won't leave you too terribly tipsy at all. So nice and refreshing little aperitif. There is our Coquette. Cheers, and I hope you enjoy this cocktail compilation. Let's make ourselves a drink. We're going to be making a Berliner. It's a drink I particularly like in the winter months because it uses this gorgeous herbal spirit called Kümmel that comes in a very thin, long bottle and has gorgeous, gorgeous aromas of herbs. We'll also be using a lemon juice, and some dry vermouth, and gin. One of my favorites, Bombay Sapphire, because I love the herbs in that and the plants, and you can smell and taste so many beautiful flavors, and they mix very well together in this Berliner. And because we are going to London to see the Wallace collection, I also thought it good to have a gin-based drink. We've got our ice in the shaker. So we'll start with 3 parts gin, measure it. I just squeeze it. A nice lemon here. I love freshly squeezed lemon juice. And the lemon really complements the Kümmel. Now, we shake this with ice. Shake that until there's proper frost on the shaker. And then strain into a cocktail glass. If you like, you can garnish it with lemon. It's a very beautiful aromatic drink. Chin chin. In January 1919, the 18th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified and passed on October 28th. Prohibition across the nation came into force a year later, 1920. For 13 years, the United States had a constitutional ban on the manufacture, sale, and consumption of alcohol. This was the result of a temperance movement that saw alcohol as the cause of poverty, family breakdowns, and political corruption. They believed a ban on alcohol would solve these social problems and improve the health of Americans. Large-scale organized crime resulted and boomed in the wake of the ban, with huge amounts of bootlegging occurring, such as that by the famous gangster Al Capone, and speakeasies, which were illicit establishments that sold alcohol secretly, becoming very popular. Consumption declined dramatically and rates of alcohol-related illnesses fell, but crime grew and support for prohibition decreased every year. By 1929, it was widely unpopular and was blamed for a decrease in the tax revenue needed during the Great Depression. I would like to introduce you to Harry Craddock. Born in Gloucestershire in 1875, Harry moved to the United States in 1897, where he worked at Cleveland's Holland Inn Hotel and New York's Knickerbocker Hotel and Hoffman House as a bartender of great talent. He left America during Prohibition American bar at the Savoy Hotel, London in 1920, and rode into fame. The Marion Star newspaper writes, "The last legal cocktail in America is reported to have been mixed at the old Holland House on Fifth Avenue by Harry Craddock. Word drifts back from London that Craddock is now frosting the shakers at the Savoy. He took a boat the next morning pouting and has never returned." Middletown Daily Times writes, "For those who recollect torrid evenings in the blazing zone of highest visibility, and the tired eaves and faraway look of the next morning when they festooned themselves before the old Hoffman House bar for a sure case of morrow, Harry Craddock was a beneficent Santa Claus. If you're going to London, visit the Savoy. He'll fix you up." Harry Craddock made a name for himself in London at the Savoy American Bar, writing and publishing the Savoy Cocktail Book, which is still in publication. So let's have a look at the Savoy Cocktail Book. And this is available online, and the link is in the description below. The cover, very nice, with inside an Art Deco pattern there. And here we have the Savoy Cocktail Book, compiled by Harry Craddock of the Savoy Hotel, London. If all be true that I do think, there are 5 reasons why men drink good wine, a friend, or being dry, or lest we should be by and by, or any other reason why, which is dedicated to you. And there is Harry Craddock's autograph with his preface, and he says, "Here's how." It's forward and a few hints for the young mixer if you're just starting out mixing cocktails. A few of his tips and advice. We also have a few historical notes before we go into the 750 odd cocktails, all of Harry's invention, with a few little notes, such as "This is the cocktail doctors recommend," "This is the genuine article." A lot of these cocktails are named for famous people or events that happened at the time. Here's one to be taken before 11 a.m. All in alphabetical order, all of forming the basic cocktail repertoire that is still used today. The Manhattan cocktail, named after the island on which New York City stands. And here we have the Mary Pickford cocktail, one of Hollywood's first superstars, also started the United Artists, and all of the martinis. Created by Harry Craddock on May 12th, 1926, to mark the end of the general strike, the strikes of cocktail. Tom and Jerry, nice little bow to history there. This cocktail is popular in the officers' mess of the Scots Guard, hence its name SG cocktail. And on the bottom right, our recipe for today. Let's put on our cocktail bling, and here we go. Alright, let's mix a cocktail. We're going to be making a sidecar, so we need some Courvoisier, cognac, or brandy, and it looks like I need to get some more soon. We're going to use Cointreau, some ice, cocktail measure, a cocktail shaker, and some lemon. I've also got a peeler and a lemon squeezer, a little cocktail glass, and a swizzle stick. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my little swizzle. So I'm going to try and very unceremoniously make a little piece of lemon zest. I'm going to stick it on the swizzle stick and save that. Alright. Now we're going to get some ice. Now this one calls for 1/2 measure of cognac or brandy. And a 1/4 measure of Cointreau. A dribble. Next we need a 1/4 measure of lemon. Now I'm just going to put that straight in the shaker and estimate. And you might like more lemon or less lemon depending on your taste. And I'm just going to use an ice cube to rinse out the measure so that we don't lose any of the yummy spirits. Alright, let's shake it. So you want to shake it until some frost starts to form on the shaker. It's nice and frosty, so you can see that. Alright, now we're going to get a beautiful golden foggy cocktail. And there's our swizzle. And that, my friend, is Harry Craddock's Brandy Sidecar, just for you. Cheers. So for the Brandy Alexander, it's a very nice little drink made with equal parts brandy or cognac, chocolate liqueur, and cream. And I've put a little Mikado stick in there for a garnish, a little swizzle stick. In the past, it has had the stereotype of being a very feminine drink, or even effeminate. If you've read Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh. Anthony Blanche drinks the Brandy Alexander, which is also it's somewhat sweet but very refreshing. If you're worried about it, but you want something similar, you could order a White Russian that instead of cognac and chocolate liqueur, it has vodka and Kahlua and cream. So cheers. I've made something not in the book. This is a tea drink and it's drunk warm. It's made with orange juice, lemon juice, black tea, and I've used Earl Grey, brown sugar, and cognac, and I've garnished it with an orange peel. This cocktail was one of the winning recipes at the Marie Brizard Cocktail Challenge in October 2008, mixed by Jackie Patterson. Called the Violet Hour, it calls for parfait amar, anisette, and vodka, and I'll leave the official recipe in the description below. There have been other variations of this cocktail as well, such as the addition of Lillet Blanc. And I'll give you my recipe below as well. It's a very strong drink made for sipping. Will facilitate the slipping into the folds of darkness that creep over the hillsides, the woods, and the cities, turning the colors to dim violet memories, along with the worries of the day, if only for an hour or two. So if you prefer lighter drinks, use less vodka and only a dash of anisette, and perhaps 1 measure of lemon juice, or you could add some soda water. So to make our Violet Hour, we're going to use a shaker with some ice. We're using some vodka, anisette, and some crème violette. And because cocktails are very individual, and you can make them however you like them, you can also use parfait amar, and this gives us this beautiful violet color. It's a lovely violet liqueur. So we're going to start with our cocktail shaker, and we're going to put 1.5 measures of vodka. And again, you can tweak the measurements because a cocktail is very personal. And then it's a very nice sound there. As the sun grows long. So we're we're going to get some crème violette. Now, the parfait amour or crème violette is something that makes the drink very pretty, but I tend to go light on it because it can also give a bit of a sort of strong flavor that I don't really like to overpower the taste, so I use a little bit less of that, just enough to give it a nice purpley color. And then the anisette. This one calls for just a dash, but I think it adds an appreciable flavor. So I'm going a little bit more than a dash. And there's our little drink. Now we're going to put the top back on. And here I've used a lemon peel, a little zest of lemon. The drink calls for zest of orange, and you can use orange. For me, I like the bitterness of the lemon. And there is our beautiful, very nice violet hour cocktail to make the hours slide by. You can see the beautiful lavender hue there. And if you like, you can squeeze a little bit of lemon or orange slice in there for a little bit of flavor. The orange will make it sweeter, and the lemon, depending on the flavor, the Sicilian lemon's very nice. You get a nice complement to the vodka and anisette. So to make our World War I related aviation style cocktail, we're going to use some gin, some syrup de gomme or sugar syrup, Schweppes soda water, lemon, and ice. So we'll start with our iced shaker, and I've probably said before, I really like the Bombay Sapphire because it's very aromatic and lovely tasting gin. I've got our measure there. So we'll do 1.5 measures of This cocktail would originally have called for Old Tom gin, but since then it's probably changed its name to a John Collins. And now we're going to squeeze some lemon. So we're using about a half measure of lemon and 1.5 of gin. There we go. And this cocktail calls for, in its original recipe, half or a teaspoon of this icing sugar or powdered sugar. I could use that, but I'm going to use the modern recipe and put in some sirop de gomme, sugar syrup. Just a little bit. And then we shake that. Now it's nice and frosty. Pour a little bit of that in there and top it up with some soda water. You'd normally garnish with a slice of lemon, and the modern cocktail calls for maraschino cherry. But I don't like it so sweet, so I'll keep it like this and probably put a lemon in it. So there's our gin-based. To complete our evening at the opera, it seems appropriate to introduce a spirit here. One often termed the green fairy, absinthe. It is a liqueur or spirit, very strong, but it has its roots in medicinal herbal distillation from the Middle Ages, like several other herb-based spirits, including Kümmel, which we've had here in the study before. It is green in color and has a very anise or licorice flavor, as well as herbs, and is actually quite lovely, even though it's very strong. Let's see what our man Stuart Walton says about absinthe. The most famous pastis of them all is absinthe. Pastis being one of the most important traditional drinks of Europe. The principal flavouring being either licorice or aniseed and other herbal ingredients, which has been known as digestive medicine since the time of the Egyptians and still in use today. Absinthe, the only category of alcohol apart from home distillates ever to have been made illegal. In fact, absinthe was banned until the 1990s because it got a bad reputation. Since the 1990s, however, it has happily been restored to us. What originally doomed it was that it contained wormwood in concentrations held responsible for corroding the brain. During the late 19th century, it was the house drink of decadent Parisian artists and others, many of whom died the kinds of squalid deaths associated with laudanum use during the English Romantic period. So its association with the opium deaths and general bohemian lifestyle did it some discredit. Also, absinthe is being made in France again. It is still officially persona non grata there, and much is made in Eastern Europe, especially the Czech Republic. Now, this book is about 20 years old, so I think the production has expanded somewhat since then. When absinthe was given its marching orders in France by a governmental decree of 1915, other countries followed suit. One of its chief manufacturers, the firm of Henri Louis Pernod, which had been making it for over a century, then turned to making a similar product without wormwood at a lower alcoholic strength. So the alcoholic strength for absinthe is at least 55, and more usually 65 to 70. And Walton mentions a Bulgarian product bottled at just a heartbeat under 90%. How to drink absinthe? You can mix it with water, or putting it in a glass. Use a specially designed spoon that balances over the edge of the glass, on which you put a sugar cube. Over this cube is poured ice water, and there you have the drink of absinthe, watered and sweetened, although, in my opinion, it doesn't need much sweetening. It's such a delightful, refreshing spirit. If you've dissolved the sugar cube with ice water, you can add a splash of Angostura bitters, and you have an absinthe cocktail. One of my favourite ways to drink absinthe is in the cocktail called the Monkey Gland, which is a gin-based cocktail, very fruity, and with a spot of licorice of the absinthe, very refreshing. And I'll put the recipe below in the description. Or if you are a fan of black books, you can have it with bees. And there, my friend, we come to the end of this cocktail compilation. Hope you've enjoyed it and found it relaxing. It's always a pleasure to make cocktails for you and to share in these wonderful moments together. There will be plenty more cocktails in the study, so remember, you're always welcome here for a tipple. Be good to yourself, be kind to others,